George Santa Anne once said, "Those who do not learn from their mistakes are doomed to repeat them." This documentary will show and explain how lessons from the past can be incorporated into our everyday life and to past events. I will specifically focus on three wars and the slight introductory of torture into how this is self-evident and shows itself throughout history. The use of torture was very popular in medieval Europe, and up until about 1800s there were no regulations on torture besides that of which the Pope states. The only restrictions is what you were able to be willing that your own troops themselves would suffer. What you do to the other side, they will do to you. However, now we have learned that if you abuse another person's soldier or another nation's soldier, then they will do the same to yours. That's why we have the Geneva Convention and war crimes, because the atrocities in World War II, World War I, and looking back on the Spanish Inquisition. That is an example of where we are learning from our past and how we are actually making the world better based off what we have learned from the past. The first war in which I would like to draw a parallel to would be the American Revolution compared with the Scottish War for Independence. Both of the nations, Scotland and America, were protectorates or part of the British royal colonies. This is very important because they were both abused by their human rights. They were taxed unfairly, their lands were abused, and they were horribly treated as tenants. The American Revolution was decided based off of the taxation without representation and the abuse of the colonies. They rose up and they fought the English crown. The Scottish people, in their Scottish War for Independence, they were taxed unfairly and they were treated unfairly and abused, and they felt their rights were being infringed upon. And this caused for both sides that they felt that they were more Scottish or more American than they were part of the royal colonies. So they decided to fight and break away. If England would have learned from this, the world today may be very different. The next parallel I would like to draw is between the Chinese dictator Cao Cao and Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler, as you know, gained power through war-torn Germany through the power of his powerful speaking. He was a very powerful speaker. Cao Cao himself was also a very powerful speaker. They both gained power through chaos and turmoil in their countries through military might and crushing upstarts and rebellions and eventually betraying those who gave them that power. If we would have drawn the parallels to Adolf Hitler and Cao Cao, and Adolf Hitler was stopped, World War II could have been avoided. If England and France would have also noticed the parallels from World War I, that's another story, but once again, the war could have been avoided. The final conflict that I would like to draw parallels to is the Crusades and the war in Iraq and the war in Afghanistan. Both of those have been problems between misunderstandings between Christians and Muslims. Muslims feel that the Christians are invading their holy land and are infidels. The Christians feel as if the Muslims are doing nothing but keeping the holy sites all to themselves and being tyrants. As such, there were different reasons why we went into war with Afghanistan and Iraq, but as you can tell by the media and by what you hear every day, this is a war to the Muslims as a holy war against the Christians. And some Christians feel it is their faith to serve in this war against the Muslims. If we would have learned that you need to talk to the clerics, you need to put aside your differences and accept that you're different, this whole war could have been avoided for the second time. Young lives could have been saved. This is a very prime and striking at home example on why. we should learn from our past. A 3-year-old learns that when you kick at something that's hard without shoes on, it hurts. Why can we not learn from our mistakes too in the past? I want to strongly stress that we must look to our history. We must solve what is wrong and what is before us. Our whole future is laid upon us. All we need to do is decipher. Thank you for watching.